All right. Welcome back to another hour of Scotch Hour. I'm Noah.
I'm Jesse.
And I'm Brian.
All right. Hey, welcome back, guys. Welcome back. Another fun hour I think we have ahead of us. We got our shout outs, restaurant reviews coming up right away. But before that, we're going to do our Scotch tasting, which it'll be Glenfarclas 10 this time.
That's right.
And our special topic or topic on hand will be the Punisher.
Oh, man.
Can't wait to talk about that one.
I'm pretty stoked.
All right.
And it doesn't have to strictly be Punisher Netflix. It's just
anything Punisher.
Nice.
The show on Netflix is what brought you the passion, if you will.
Excellent.
Scotch Reviewed.
All right, so this is the Glenfarclas 10. 2 weeks ago, we ventured and enjoyed the Glenfarclas 12, which was I think all three of us enjoyed it pretty well. I don't know that any of us would consider it our favorite, but the Glenfarclas 12 was pretty good. So in essence of the Punisher, we're doing the Glenfarclas 10. And I think true to what we already know about ages, this one's going to be a little rougher around the edges. This is not going to be your grandpa's Scotch, most likely, unless he lost his taste.
I almost thought maybe like a smokehead would have been better for the Punisher because of the skull.
Oh, that could have worked. But I mean, there's gonna be a little fire on a 10-year maybe.
Yeah.
Is that what we're gonna taste? A little heat?
Maybe.
A little heat coming through?
I mean, we should.
Oh,
Ooh, I like the dark bottle.
I really like the dark bottle. Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah. Actually, it looks really nice. Like the bottle itself with
Compared to the 10 bottle or the 12 bottle,
Yeah.
it does look much more handsome.
yeah.
Well, yeah. The tin's not really much to look at either.
I like the color of the blue tin more on the 12.
Yeah, but that bottle came out. That was striking as soon as it came out.
Is that a brown bottle there?
Yeah. I like...
I think the brown bottle with that white label and the red kind of pops are pretty nice.
I like them both, honestly. I'm a huge fan of red, though. Chicks dig red. Chicks find red on a guy more attractive than blue in most cases.
Well, I know guys dig red on women. That's been proven.
Women in red dresses.
Yeah.
From the Matrix.
Unless you're in a goth.
Are you listening, Neo? Or are you looking at the woman in the red dress?
Huh?
All right, so what we're going to make you guys do, we're not going to tell you the whole history of Glenfarclas here. We're going to say, go back and watch the beginning of Interstellar, episode 42.
2?
No, 44. 44.
44, yeah, because last week was 45. So, yeah, we're on.
That'll be interesting if we, because I have not written anything down for tasting notes. It'll be like to go back and watch it. Because you would think, it's the 10-year is going to be, pretty similar to the 12-year, only not quite as
I can already smell
smooth.
it.
Yeah, I can.
Yeah. So I will usually, I do a little bit of prep time and stuff like that, but do some research on whatever we're going to be drinking. And I didn't know which one we're going to drink tonight. So it's all off the cuff.
That's what I tried to leave it up there because I was like, man, if I get out of work early, I was going to do the Glenfarclas 105, but I didn't get out of work early.
Well, and I assume that's what it was up there on the mantle there, and but I wasn't positive when I was setting up the studio.
I can smell it too, and I don't mind it. I actually kind of like it.
It was an initial punishment. I thought. As soon as I brought it up to my nose, I was like, I should have proceeded with a little bit more caution. I just went in and just
punished it.
All right.
This the way this one has on the aroma, just like if that initial whiff that comes in, it kind of reminds me of your kids or your wife always complaining about how Lagavulin smells or whatever.
Sure. Yeah.
All right. So we'll go ahead and we'll cut. We'll do our tastings and we'll come back and give you guys everything that we discovered on it. All right. Who's going to go first here and give their review?
Well, I think Brian had a good point, so I think Brian should lead this one off.
Okay, Brian.
Well, do we want to just kind of, okay. All right. I'll lay it all out there.
Yeah.
Because I actually enjoy this. This would be one that that I will remember and I will choose to enjoy. And there's a very specific reason that I'll get to. First of all, the nose on this had a real, well, first of all, you've got to let it breathe for a second, because this is a 10-year, right? So you're going to get a little bit of that alcohol. It's going to hit you if you don't let it sit for, just, when I say let it sit, I'm talking a minute. It went away, but as soon as Jesse poured it, I brought it right to my nose, and I was like, no, punishment. I was like, this is Punisher. I get what's going on here. You're messing with me. But after the initial, you wait a minute, 30 seconds, real sweetness on the front of the nose. And then it kind of like a cinnamon lingered on that nose. And then the little trick that I learned, in 2 episodes ago with the dip the finger in and rub the hands, came across that kind of like you're walking into like a brewery, that barley, that heavy bar, like going into golden, driving into golden. But also like if you let it kind of sit there for a little while and then bring it back up later, there was a little hint of woodiness, just a hint leaving there at the end. Color, a deep amber gold, which I like. I like a Scotch with a little bit of that deep amber color. I don't like them light or gold. So I'm big on the color. When the taste, right on the tongue, you get that spice front that's kind of cinnamon, right? And then it kind of gave way for me to this late, like black licorice flavor, but a sweeter than black licorice, but kind of there. And I enjoyed that, which I'm not a black licorice fan. So the sweeter part of it was fine with me. And then what I really loved about this is it had like a really, really late finish, and almost I called it like an aftertaste that I really liked. And that it was like this kind of vanilla malt shop, like ice cream almost. And one of the comments I made that I really enjoyed about this Scotch is you can really drink it very slow. Like you take a sip and you enjoy the flavor for, like, I'm still enjoying my last sip. And that's a sign, in my opinion, that's a sign of a Scotch that I really enjoy, where I can take a sip, enjoy the flavor for a while, and not have to go rush right back in. It's there.
Right. So. And I think Jesse made a comment about like that's what makes Scotch really great. Same with some great wines.
Mm-hmm. Which is crazy because this is only a 10-year, but and I don't recall, and we'll have to revisit that 12-year, but I'll bet you
it's gone.
Yeah, we
but I would bet you it probably had that same quality where it lingered, just the aftertaste was really nice. So I think that's my review.
Okay, yeah, I think with most, I think that's a great analysis right there. I think with a Scotch, it's not meant to be slammed. And to kind of give you like an example here, right? I think what you said is exactly true. Like a nice Scotch is to be enjoyed and appreciated, and it lingers there, and you are supposed to like enjoy it that way and have that nice aftertaste. And it's not something that you just slam. Right. And I mean, even the price point dictates that that's probably not what you should be doing. And
true, exactly. Right? We talked about this is not a hobby for the faint of heart.
And here's what I mean, like if you're going to be shooting whiskeys or whatever, right? You're probably going to go with like Jim Beam or like Jack Daniels, maybe.
I guess.
But I think if you want to sit down and really enjoy like a really nice made whiskey, you're looking at like single malt scotches and things like that, and then you can appreciate the nuances. It like I was at a family event, and dude, somebody came over, and we had opened up the Craigalackie. Nailed it.
Craigalackie.
Nailed it. If you guys don't know what that's from, it's from whatever. I don't know what episode that was.
Like
13,
20.
Yeah.
Who knows? Long time ago.
Who knows? Long time ago. Craigalackie is the way you really pronounce it.
Yes.
But anyways, we opened up a bottle of Craigalackie, and this one guy just shoots it.
It's not just a Craigalackie. It was a Craigalackie 13.
Wow.
That was a gift.
Yeah, that was a gift. And the guy just shoots it. And I'm like,
wait, like you gave him like a Scotch.
Yeah, in a glass.
Not like, but like a
tumbler.
Yeah.
And tumbler.
And he just junk.
Yeah, and he just shot it.
And he was like, "Thank you. May I have another?"
Yeah, kind of like that.
And you're like, no.
Yeah.
Come see me in 20 minutes when I'm done with mine,
Yeah.
or a half an hour for that. You know, who
Yeah,
knows?
exactly.
That's
Yeah,
how you drink a scotch.
Yeah, the scotch is not meant to be like
No. And I tell you what, like, yeah, I took a bottle of Lagavulin 11. Yeah, a Lagavulin 11, I think.
Offerman?
Out to, well, no.
It
What's
was the 8 or the 9, I think.
probably a 9. No. It was the, whatever the
Green.
canister was from the,
Oh, that's a 9.
That's the 9.
Lagavulin.
that was an, okay. So
Game
it's
of
just a
Thrones?
9-year. Yeah, it's just a 9-year.
It's
But-
not just a 9.
well, whatever,
Anything
yeah.
Lagavulin's
Well, I mean, just
Lagavulin.
we've been down that path. We've taken a journey. We've gone well beyond a Lagavulin 9-year at this point. But back in the day, yeah, I took that out, and that bottle lasted me pretty much my whole vacation back out to the Midwest and back, just sipping and sharing.
Yeah.
you know, yeah.
And you know, like if you're drinking scotch, you should be enjoying it and allowing that finish to linger and you know it's
But I mean, yeah, I was drinking it like sitting on the beach.
Hell to the
Right. I mean,
yes.
sitting by a campfire for darn sure. That was for sure. That was easy. But like,
but
yeah,
you weren't shooting it.
no, I was enjoying every bit of it.
And that's
man.
one of the things you do with a Lagavulin
Cool.
because everyone else is running away because they're like, what? How many band-aids is that guy wearing?
Isn't that crazy? But I mean,
He-Man
it all
says.
goes back. It goes back to your.
Even.
It's my first experience. It was back with your mom's wedding,
Yeah.
hanging with Jesse around the campfire,
Around the campfire. Yeah.
Dude,
drinking. And now I can speak to this because I remember. You guys don't really remember.
I have
much.
photos on my phone to this
To
day where
remind
I'm
you.
like, oh yeah.
Wow,
I
that
don't remember
happened.
any of that.
But I mean, seriously, that was a great time.
Dude, that
It
was
was.
the best wedding I've
I
still
remember-
ever
I
been
was-
to.
I was like dancing.
Yeah,
I was dancing. I got
For
some
hours.
serious cred. I got serious like street cred with my boys because I was dancing, and your uncle was like, "Wow, Ryan's got a little rhythm," and I was like, "Yes."
Yeah.
I got some credit too. It was all about the abs, I remember.
I don't know. Who gave you that cred?
All the girls, like literally all of them. It was weird.
It was-
You guys probably weren't there.
No, probably
They were
we
lifted.
were. Well,
I remember where you were. You had eaten we're just going to say a gummy bear, and you were out front.
Yeah.
And
Well,
you were around
okay.
the corner behaving. I was out on the dance floor, and they kept coming over to lift up my shirt. And I was just like, you don't have to.
this might have been a different wedding.
Nah.
Well, he's not wrong with what I was doing.
I
because-
remember this day from beginning to end. The night before, I remember nothing except
so,
getting there.
So, because I had just recently got into I was in a car accident. And my back was hurting me, so someone offered me a gummy.
This was at the wedding?
Yeah,
At the wedding?
at the wedding. So someone offered me
Like
a
at the wedding?
yeah,
Like
after not
after
at,
the wedding?
yeah, like
Okay.
at the reception
Not like
time.
during the wedding. You weren't like, whoa.
yeah, no, after the wedding during the reception time, my back was hurting, and so someone offered me a
Bag of gummy bears, and he ate the whole thing.
no, not a bag of gummy, just one. It was the medicinal
Sure.
gummy,
Yeah.
and I was like out, like I was.
But you were-
Body was there, but mentally I was gone.
Yeah. You were,
I was checked out.
yeah, there was,
I remember there's a point where
I came by, and I'm like, dude, you're missing the dancing. Are you okay? And you're just like, I had a gummy because my back is killing me.
you were
and I'm
sitting out
like-
by the fire though, but you were there.
no, like there was a point when it was like even before the dancing started, I would just like come with those like, and Jesse and I guess one of my new like step cousins, they were talking, and someone said something to me, and I'm like, I had a gummy.
You got to realize all of his step cousins are females.
I don't remember. I mean, I
remember it 'cause it was
well, it
one of
was
those-
really awesome because I got to drink so much because I never had to go anywhere because we were all camping there. It
I
was
had
the
to go
best.
somewhere. I woke up not knowing
Yeah, you ended up at like
Uncle Kenny's house, and I'm like,
Yeah, but Uncle Kenny's house is literally up the driveway, turn right, down the next driveway.
in a field. Meanwhile, I didn't know where I was. I woke up and I was like, oh, there's a brick that just fell out. Shitting bricks.
I was but why? Just
I
because you didn't know where you were?
And the place was totally jacked up. I'm like, whose house is this with all these family photos that are crooked on the wall? And where am I?
That makes sense. I can see that.
So back to
Yeah, where the heck did that come from?
I don't know.
Scotch. My first Scotch ever, Lagavulin. And yeah, that was my review. Whew.
Ooh.
Noah, you're up next.
So my review, I'll keep mine short and sweet.
Or on track.
Or
at
on
least,
track.
somewhere.
When I first smell it in the nose out of the glass, I do get a slight woodsy aroma. But then that does follow up with the initial cinnamon. And like you, I do get some malted barley on the nose as well.
With the hand trick. That was awesome. That worked cool for this.
And then on the
pony.
When it comes to the palate, I find it very light all the way from the front palate, mid palate, very light. I do pick up some winter spice with a little bit of honey and cream and some slight fruit sweetness, because there's like a slight bit of sweetness there that I pick up. And then the finish, I do agree with you. It is a creamy vanilla finish with just a slight bit of spice.
Yeah.
But to me, it doesn't really linger that long. So it's like a very light bodied, it's very mild on the front palate, very mild on the mid palate. And the finish, it's almost like it doesn't have a finish. And then also maybe like a minute later, also you get that vanilla.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're just hanging out. Like that would be perfect because you're hanging out, having a conversation with somebody, right?
But it's almost like it goes front mid, and then all of a sudden like disappears, and all of a sudden you're like, hey, there's like a creamy vanilla spice thing going on right there. What happened?
It's like young love.
And but I will say, like, this is a very quaffable scotch. You could definitely sit down with it and not fret about like being too tough to drink or put down.
Surprisingly smooth, right?
Yeah.
I mean, the whole thing, we were all expecting the whole, the scent, the Punisher thing, kind of joking about it, but very smooth.
But the one thing I would say about this one is that it just seems undeveloped.
Oh yeah, I wanted you to bring that up. That was good.
Because it really it seems like they pull it out maybe about a year or two early.
She said.
I was just waiting for him to finish. He's like, they pull it out. I'm like, and Noah, how are you going to recover?
So they pulled it out about I think about 1 or 2 years before, too early, to where I think it didn't fully get some of the flavors that they wanted to get out of it.
That you get in the 12 year.
Yeah, that you would get in the 12 year.
I revisited and looked back, and it was amazing how the journey, like you said, the development of the last one, much more complex.
Yeah. So I guess that's where I'll leave it at.
All right. So we'll give you the super quick history. 6 generations, established 1836. Whiskey aficionados, distillery
Brian's
of the
supposed
year.
to be the big head.
I know. Whiskey aficionados, distillery of the year 2020. So the Glenfarclas distillery has a lot going for it. They do a lot of things well. Actually very intrigued still about this scotch. I'm going to continue enjoying it throughout the hour. Great deep golden color, a little brassy, if you will. On the nose for me, it was absolutely cinnamon, and then aged in European Oloroso sherry cask. It makes sense that it's a sweet cinnamon. On the nose, absolutely is what I get. And then for the body, the oak is still mild. It's kind of surprisingly creamy, and I enjoy that cinnamon rush throughout, and then it fades pretty quickly. And these guys aren't wrong. This does not have some long finish, except for the fact that, and we asked Brian to speak first because he nailed it when we were taking our tasting notes. It has an aftertaste, if you will, And all of a sudden, for me, the vanilla custard just comes out. The word I will continue to use is, for me, this is a very delicate Scotch. And I think that is partially, as Noah mentioned, is, I'm going to say underdeveloped or underaged, but still fairly enjoyable. For the $45 price point, I don't know that it's a wrong choice. If you can spend the $10 to $15 more, definitely go for the 12.
I would agree with that. Go for the 12.
Yeah, not bad though. For me, I would easily settle for the 10-year. I could be okay with that because it is for me. It's distinctly different from the 12-year. It's amazing what 2 more years does to the whole complexity of the Scotch.
It's time for our shout-outs.
I'll just make mine real simple. I don't have any shout outs for this week, but I will say thank you for showing up again. I love having you on the show.
Yeah, it is nice. It was, I was so close. I hummed and hawed, I was ready to go yesterday. I was like, this is it. But then it was today. But I'm glad I'm here. It is awesome. Too. It is nice. Yeah, I
think our show works better with 3 people. I really do.
I do too. So my shout outs, Brian, my first shout out also goes to you. And the reason for that is because I thought of you when we mentioned this topic a week ago. And I'm like, man, this is a topic Brian's going to have something to add to. And I think he'd be fun with and enjoy. And then the second one for me is I didn't have any time this past week to go run out and buy comic books. So Marissa ran out and bought me some comic books, and I'm super grateful for that. Thank you. I really truly appreciated that because these are knockouts for the storyline and everything. She spent some time picking them out. Thank you.
And for those of you who don't know who Marissa is, she did fill in one time for Brian during the whole when we did Sasquatch time frame. And she did run our social media for a slight bit, but because we are so sporadic, she had moved on. Yeah, which is good.
For senior pastures.
These guys, I can't.
Well, this, I don't even think we knew what half the time our schedule was like because we were working 2 weeks ahead and we were getting the weeks wrong all the time.
Yeah.
No shout outs. I guess, some of my coworkers that I just in their absence or in their presence, just in the past week, I was just like, wow, they're good. I was like, wow, they're pretty darn good, which is cool. You kind of wonder and you think, because, based on, my job and what I do, you don't really see each other all the time, but I got to kind of experience that. And I was like, they're cool. They're good. Yeah. Which was really cool because I really am pretty passionate about what I do. So I want people that do it to be good at it. So that would be my shout out to my coworkers. Yes.
All right. Coworkers, Marissa, Brian, my hat. Anything else we missed?
That's it.
All right.
Truly restaurant review time.
Restaurant review.
Do you want to give your review on the restaurant? Do you know where we went?
Let me hear where you went, and I might be able to chime in. Maybe I've been there.
Dude, I threw out the Yak and Yeti.
Ooh, never been.
It's a little bit farther from Greeley. It's more in Boulder.
Yak and Yeti?
That's Westminster. There's 3 of them, I think. There's Westminster, Arvada, and right off of Hampton and
nice pop.
Right, is it close to Hampton and I-25 maybe?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yak and Yeti. What the?
It's an Indian restaurant.
Okay, you know what? I believe I've driven past the one off of Hampton.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of. If I keep going on Hampton,
it was pretty close to Kennedy Golf Course, Kennedy Golf Course, and was it Centerfold Showgirls? somewhere right around there.
I don't know how he
What?
focuses on that. To me, everything's by a Target. It's by the
There's Showgirl. There's a
Target
strip club by this
at
place.
7777
Yeah.
Hampton. I don't know.
Pretty close to it. It's like right across the street. The strip club's like right across the street from the golf course, and then just right down the road is where the Yak and Yeti is.
All right. Well, I'll turn it over to you guys since I didn't go to the strip club or
I
the
didn't go to the
restaurant.
strip club either. It looks like a pretty shady spot. I would
As opposed to the
Now-
classy.
Now that you said that, it would have been perfect for the Punisher.
That's where you guys should have
That's where
went.
we should have gone and eaten. We would have definitely half died. All right, Noah, review Yak and Yeti.
Okay, so I'm a pretty big. I do like Indian food. I used to eat Indian food when I lived out in Utah about once a week. Yak and Yeti is the first Indian place I came to when I first moved back from Utah to Colorado, and when I first got, or actually before that, when I came out here on vacation one time, I think it was actually for my mom's wedding, maybe. To do another flashback there, I was spending time with my brother. We went there. we went there.
Started.
We went there for lunch, and we did the lunch buffet. And the lunch buffet is really good. Like if post COVID they haven't done the buffets anymore,
Mm-hmm.
but if they do reopen the buffets, they have a pretty good buffet there. But as far as the food goes at Yak and Yeti, it's pretty good for Indian food.
What'd you get?
I got the chicken tikka masala, and it was pretty good. I enjoyed it a lot.
Got curry?
No. Well, no, it doesn't have curry.
No. No.
Does it have curry? It may have some curry in it.
Okay.
Actually, it probably does, because I make it myself. So, yeah.
Yeah.
And it's actually pretty good. It's done pretty well. And then we also have some garlic naan.
What's
So-
naan?
Naan is like a flatbread
Ooh.
that has like some of them make it with cilantro and garlic and butter. I think this one just had the butter and garlic on it. But anyways, the appetizer that we had, I'll let Jesse talk about the appetizer, what it was or whatever. But part of it had some chicken that was like deep fried. It seemed like it was like chicken tempura almost. If that'd be like
That's how I would describe it. It's like tempura, fried chicken, veggies. I thought it was
Yeah.
great.
Yeah, I thought
Well, was
that
that
was
an
good.
appetizer?
Yeah.
It was super good. But yeah, overall, I think you can take a first. I think it's first date worthy. I think it's I think it's a good enough place to go.
Is that going to be the $3 signs on the, as opposed to the $2 signs? $2. That's how much money I'm spending.
So you got like
Oh,
$15, $30.
Oh, for the plates?
$60.
Yeah, what am I
Yeah.
spending there?
You're probably spending about like $16 a plate, roughly.
I mean, that's what you spend anywhere nowadays, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's
Literally what I spend
you
to go to Taco
You spend
Bell.
13
Yeah.
bucks on you spend 13 bucks on a burger, 15 bucks on a burger. Who am I kidding?
Yeah,
Easily.
So, yeah, I think it's about like $16, $18 on a plate, and then you probably spend about another $2 to $3 on the garlic naan.
What are the portion size?
Pretty big.
Pretty big. That's good. I mean, so
It's enjoyable. You'll definitely leave full.
what are you doing with what's the sides in a dish like that? Is it like a
It's just rice and
lots
and
of
the-
rice? I
and the
figured.
dish
I thought
itself.
some rice. Come on, cool.
Yeah.
All right.
So yeah, I give it 2 thumbs up.
For me, of course, we started with the appetizer, which I thought was good, very enjoyable. They fried it well. Temperature was good, not burned, fresh oil. The garlic naan I thought was really good, and definitely real chunks of garlic on there. They weren't shy with the garlic, which was great for me. I love it. Just, fun fact. Apparently ladies don't like the scent of garlic on a man's mouth, but after you've ingested it and sweat it out, it's actually considered an aphrodisiac. So eat lots of garlic, just not right.
No, that is no, and 100% no. If anybody's listening to that, young men, don't listen to Jesse.
Listen
that is
to
not
Jesse.
going to work.
Who's winning?
Okay.
I'm just saying.
I'm not going to mention. We're not keeping score or anything. Just trust me. Don't
Yeah.
do the garlic,
Yeah.
gentlemen.
You're not keeping score? I've had more wives. Hashtag winning.
right.
So next I had the chicken vindaloo. I thought it was
That's
pretty great.
I thought you had the lamb vindaloo. Was it lamb?
It was the lamb vindaloo. It was the lamb vindaloo. I thought it was great. I actually really enjoyed it. It was sweet. If you don't like a sweet dish, it was a little bit sweeter than some vindaloos, but I seriously enjoyed it. I had the flying horse Indian lager. That was great. The beer was great, man. It was. This bottle was like a wine bottle.
I'm gonna try and procure myself a bottle of what is it?
Flying horse. It was awesome. I thought it was great. So for me, the environment, and it's kind of tricky because it's also an event center. You walk in and it looks like it's a 10. When we went back to where we were sitting, it was still an 8, except I didn't like the seats. I felt like I was like crunched in my seat. So ultimately, environment for what we experienced where we ate, I gave it a 7. And then food, I stuck with a 7 as well. We've had some other Indian cuisine. I'm not a huge Indian aficionado. Noah is ventured with me to a couple other places that were a little bit better. So the food was also a 7. And the value to me was absolutely a 10. Like I didn't think we could go wrong with the value. First date worthy. If you're looking for fun Indian food, absolutely. If you're looking to score with a supermodel, don't go. And also
unless she likes it.
Yeah.
Unless she likes Indian food, right?
There are other Indian restaurants.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt your role there.
Yeah, if you just picked her up from the Center for Old Show Club that Noah's talking about, she's probably going to love it. So for me, long run is 7, but definitely a fun experience worthy of trying and also friend worthy.
How are we? What's the attire? How am I
casual?
Pretty casual.
Super casual.
Super casual.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know about like first date Indian food. That's risky because that can mess up some people's stomachs, And if you want the date to go beyond dinner.
If I'm going on a first date, I'm hoping for a third date.
Yeah, Jesse's gonna reek of garlic and be all gassy, so he's got a plan.
I forgot to give it like an actual rating out of 10, but yes, I'd give it a 7 as well.
All right,
and I agree with you. There are other ones that are better.
Have you guys done the Indian cuisine in Southlands?
Have not.
Nope.
All right, that should be our next outing.
Right.
When do you guys do dinners?
We haven't really set up days to do those yet.
Okay, let's do a dinner.
We've been trying to do typically Wednesday nights, but we both are like been flexible with schedules.
All right, you guys want to go to dinner?
Sure.
All right.
Are you thinking you're gonna make it back next Monday?
I'm asking you guys out on a date. Well, I don't know. I can still just go to dinner with you. I don't have to do the show. I can we just go out to eat.
Plan that dinner for the next show you're going to be on.
I'm just kind of rolling with it.
All right.
You know how I mean.
During the school year, we know how you roll.
Yeah, the prep is minimal. The fact that I'm here is because I had a 3-day weekend, and I had to work a day though. I had to work at Ball Arena at the SAC, dishing out Dippin' Dots.
He was dishing out sack at the Ball Arena.
That's right. That's right.
All right.
Sacks of kettle corn, sacks of popcorn. Lemonade.
See?
Okay, can we get on to no? I thought you're the MC. You got to control this thing, dude.
Smarter challenges.
So you know who has a big sack? Our main topic.
Nice segue, smooth, like the Glenfarclas 10.
Cheers.
All right. So smarter challenge.
All right. This week we are enjoying The Punisher. So before I chose the subject, a couple days before, the whole point was I watched 5 minutes of the Punisher series, season 1, a few episodes in, and Noah was watching. I watched 5 minutes, and then I got hooked because as a youth, I enjoyed the Punisher comic book. So we will be talking about the Punisher, and there's a lot of different directions to go here. Noah, do you want to start? Do you want me to start? Give Brian a few minutes.
I think you should start because you kind of have a way or a focus of how you want us to go down this road.
You know what? It's not so much the focus, but it is a few things that I do want to bring up. So first of all, The Punisher was a Marvel comic character and ultimately comic book, starring, in the comic or the TV show and the movies, Francis, better not call him that, it's Frank Castle. The Francis is interesting because the writer of the Punisher comic books was Jerry Conway, which was really Jared Francis Conway. So I found that was kind of interesting that this man, born September 10th, 1952, used his middle name as the first name for the character. I thought that was great, especially with considering the 1952 age and the fact that Gerard Conway, was very much exposed to the Vietnam War. So first appearance of the Punisher was in February 1974. So I'm going to consider that as his birth date. Same birth date as far as me.
You're a February 74?
No, man, I'm 22 years old. But I'm just going to say we're both Pisces. That means I too am a badass, Frank Castle. So just saying.
That explains why he looks older than us, because he is older than us.
Well, I'm a badass. That's why I'm like the Punisher. All right. So his
Amen,
first experience was the Amazing Spider-Man number 129. The cover was dated February 1974. This character is an American vigilante who employs the use of murder, kidnapping, extortion, coercion, threats of violence, and kidnapping to get his job done.
Did I hear his first appearance was in a Spider-Man comic?
That's absolutely correct.
Wow, I had no idea.
I don't think they've planned on keeping this guy around, but he gained such popularity that at his height, he was in 4 comic book series of his own. He was driven by the deaths of his wife and 2 children who were killed for witnessing in New York Central Park a murder. Originally a veteran of the Vietnam War, is the story and timeline adapted. He was a GWOT, so he was against world terrorism is the bottom line. By the late 1980s, so we're talking about 15 years later, roughly, the height of the psychologically troubled anti-heroes. He was in 4 comic books of his own, including The Punisher, The Punisher War Journal, The Punisher War Zone, and The Punisher Armory. Man, it's a pretty interesting storyline because it goes in a lot of different directions from here. One of the things I want to bring up is, when does an American vigilante peak? And we've seen this throughout history and timelines multiple times. We had the series of movies, Death Wish. We have Die Hard, which I'm not going to say Die Hard was necessarily a vigilante, but the guy sure found and took law into his own hands at a higher level. The Punisher was also this. So it's interesting to me because at this current time, crime for most people 30 years and younger is in an all-time high. And it's skyrocketed over the last 2 years. I don't know what changed the last 2 years. Man, wait a minute. I think someone was elected or maybe not elected. I don't know.
Different podcast.
I think something happened these last 2 years where all of a sudden crime is literally skyrocketing. And it's kind of interesting because I think that's what brings up these times and the popularities of things like, The Punisher. And this cover I love. This cover of The Punisher number 35 because if you can read it, which you can't most likely unless you're really zooming in, at the bottom right-hand corner says Car by Porsche, Suit by Blaze, Face by Punisher. And this is a comic with Jigsaw in it, which in the TV show
is Russo.
Russo.
Spoiler alert.
All right, so I got to say this. I've been holding my tongue the whole time.
I know, man. I thought you were going to kick out quicker. I was like, come on, man, join in.
So I'm curious if the character Psycho from Stripes was named after Francis there.
Stripes.
That could be.
Maybe.
Bet you didn't think I was gonna go there, huh?
Could be. No, I thought he was gonna.
If any of you guys touch my shit, I kill you. If you call me Francis,
don't go digging.
I
in
kill
his
you.
bum hole.
And since we're 22, none of us have ever seen Stripes or
what
even
is
heard of Stripes. So that totally missed
Are
on
you talking about the lines?
any
on
of
his
our
shirt?
audience.
He's talking about the lines on his shirt.
Yeah.
hey,
They're like, huh? Who? What?
sorry,
Bill Murray?
Bill Murray,
Is that the dude in
Who's
In
Bill
Zombieland?
Murray?
what?
Zombieland.
Yeah.
Oh, that's Bill Murray. Was he in other movies too?
Yeah, John Candy, Moose.
Dude, he's been dead for 15 years.
John Candy and Moose and
John Candy, his character's name was Moose.
in Stripes. Oh yes.
Yeah, that's Stripes.
Oh my God. That's
Remember he
right,
did the whole mud wrestling?
And this
Yes.
is why we drink a lot of scotch during the show. So
John Candy.
we're going to go
Anyways.
around the table real quick. So I gave the quick introduction. Noah, do you
All right,
have a
I
topic
think
you want to bring
here.
up?
I think that here's the main topic that we probably should maybe start and finish on, maybe since. Is Frank Castle is his moral compass? Is it sound? Is he right what he does? What's your guys' thoughts?
So this is a great question because I had a conversation with someone and the question was, what's his rating on the moral code? And the question can be, he definitely has a moral code in my mind, but not everyone would agree. And then, or no different than a mobster, perhaps, who might only have a code. So the morality piece, as I view it, is, on a 1 to 10 scale, he's 10 here morally, 10 here morally, 5 here morally, 1 here morally, 10 here. Overall rating still better than 5 moral. But there could be a difference between a moral code and a code. So for me, it's very interesting. So I consider that Frank Castle, his timeline, his story, his character is all post-Vietnam. And with that, he's definitely psychologically troubled in many ways, comes back to America and starts, or really continues, a family he had started with his wife and later 2 children. And then the long-term question, and Noah and I had a brief conversation with this, is, do people change? And morally and character-wise, I don't think people do change. To me, though, however, his moral code, he was doing good. And this is the struggle. I'm not saying I could do what he did, plus I don't have his guns, but morally, I don't have problem with, that's right, Brian, those guns, with what he did, because it's not that it was necessarily right in everyone's moral code, but he didn't do anything to someone who didn't deserve it, in my mind.
All right, Brian.
For me, number one, I cannot think of a better superhero costume than the Punisher. Like, I dare you, throw it out there. What do you got? Who's better? Can you think of any?
The Invisible
Superhero.
Man. You can pull that off.
No, I mean, it's really, is it not the coolest costume? Like that skull and
Yeah.
everything? Spider-Man's pretty cool too.
There's a lot
Okay,
of
Venom.
costumes.
Venom's pretty cool looking. All right, there's some cool costumes, but I enjoy the costume. For me, like, I watched it from the perspective, like, I really thought Jesse was going to go there. This is where I thought Jesse was going to go, was just that whole thing of like, your family, that kind of thing.
It's there. I was waiting for you to
Are
bring
you
it
coming
up.
around there? So I was kind of looking at it, and for me, like, I thought about it. I'm like, man, I don't know. I just couldn't kill somebody. Like, I just couldn't kill somebody. Like, I just couldn't do it. Like, it would like break me. It would like crack my brain. It would really mess with me. I don't think I could do it.
If someone killed Aaron and the 3 boys, could
Well,
you,
here's the thing.
Wouldn't that
too.
crack you to go kill him?
Here's the thing too. Here's the thing though. Is I think that
talked about
I would probably be broken, like, before I killed somebody, if that were to happen, right? Because quite honestly, like, there is something in my, I mean, the boys know it. My own sons know it. Like, I am like super, like, just protective of Aaron. Like, super protective, like, not like I'm like, Mr. Possessive or this or that. I'm not that dude, but like, I just really like, that's my wife. And yeah, you should be nice to her and be nice and be cool. And if you're not, I have a real problem with that. And it'll like, my blood will just boil. Like, and I don't even know. I'm like, what did you just, I mean, I'm just
I
like,
love that.
yeah, I just like
respect
stutter
that.
and pause. I'm like, it's just like, it really is just something that, you know, you talk about moral compasses or things that change, you know, over time, you know, that is something, you know, that just like you really, who knows if you'd be that way when you're a kid, you don't know, but yeah, that's the way I am. So with that being said, like if that were to happen, yeah, I would break. And when I did break, I mean, yeah, look out. It would be bad. It would be bad news. I don't even, for anybody, everybody, anything, it would be bad news. Yeah. A broken Brian is not a good Brian. It would be bad. Who knows? Yeah. So yeah. Cause usually if it would be like a broken Brian, you know, it'd be like Aaron would put me together or my mom. So if they're, and then the boys would have to put me together and they know. They just be like,
yeah, go
they'd
buy
be like,
some more
Dad,
guns.
Dad, you gotta just
So-
relax.
But
Relax,
like
Dad."
in the Punisher though scenario, his parents are obviously gone, so it was his wife and his children, so they were all killed. So there wouldn't be anyone to put you back together. There'd be Kathy wouldn't be around, Aaron wouldn't be around, the boys wouldn't be around. It just
I don't know where there's, you know,
and here's the
I'd
messed up
love to
part.
be like the vigilante hero, but you'd probably see me just like rocking, like in a white room. If I'm not, I'd be like, I would just go to some special place or something. That would be a hard. Everybody deals with tragedy different. Who knows?
It's like
Who
the
knows?
movie The Jerk. I found my special place.
Yeah, something, man. I'd love to be the hero, but that would be some. That
That's
would be
another
some
old movie.
break. Yeah, The Jerk.
Yeah.
I only
If we
heard
weren't
about it.
22, we'd have to go back and watch some of these old classics.
I'll have to go
Since
back
they're
and watch
remaking,
it.
there's no new ideas anymore.
Oh,
Bingo!
yeah.
That's something I brought up.
We're so old.
Because
You
Noah,
can't say that. It sounds like we're old.
Noah brought up some great subjects. So no, it's not old subjects, or it's just that we're smart. We are wise beyond our years.
No, just our generation was really awesome.
All right, Noah, do you want to kick in here? Or you want me to kick in another piece?
Well, here, this is what I would say. I mean, you and I had talked about this, you know, during the week about this topic, and here's the thing: I am 110% behind Frank Castle's moral code. I think what he does after his family gets killed is 110% justified. And if he needed a buddy, I'd be like I'd be like Curtis. I'd be like, all right, just give me a call. You need me to go dig a hole? I'll go dig the hole for you. You need me to go procure some weapons for you? Sure, I'll go do that.
Now that you said that, it just hit me. Like you kind of mentioned Frank, you know, being right on doing that, and I was like, I don't know if but like at the time, if I was there and that happened and I like witnessed it, oh, everybody within like it would be like just dead. I'd go crazy dead. Like I'd go Frank Castle times. Yeah, that would be so. Okay, sorry, I just had to interject that because there's a difference between right like having it happen like away from you and hearing about it, or being like in the present and there. That would just
And you know, so like I said, I think I told you.
face just like
No, I don't want to interrupt.
sorry,
So-
and I did a lot. Sorry,
That's fine. I do too.
I don't want to interrupt. I just did.
But
Sorry.
so as I was mentioning before, it was like I'd be that buddy, be like, sure, I'll go dig the hole for you, whatever. If I had a family, likewise, maybe kind of like what you said, it'd be nice to have the idea, like I would be that guy that go off the hook and be like Frank Castle, but I don't have that skill set.
So if I may now interject, I think that's another piece to your point. You have to consider there is also one other piece, and this is something that I think for myself as well, and Noah and I talked, and I was like, man, for me, it's not so much my Aaron, it's my kids. And if someone took that away from me, that's when I would lose my proverbial donkey turd.
Think about the difference though between, you know, losing them, you know, way over there, or in the like you were there.
No, that's what I mean. So like if I particularly like you really have to consider Frank Castle is driven by ultimately what I'm going to say is guilt. He wasn't able to save his wife and children while he was present, even though he was a special ops one of the 30 best people potentially in the world at his job, special ops, and going around saving all sorts of people he didn't know, he didn't care about. Yes, he's taking lives to do that, bad people's lives. Yes, he's doing some dirty things in some people's eyes, but at the end of the day, he is making the world a better place the next day for the rest of us still alive. And this is the struggle is, because for me, I can tell you right now, I would lose it. If I couldn't control, if I was there and my kids perished and I was any bit still alive, I would absolutely be fueled by and driven by revenge, and that is real for me, particularly around my kids and anyone who's been around me with my kids when they've been put in harm's way know this because they've seen my reactions when a dog comes and charges them. My reaction is immediate. I put myself in harm's way. I put myself in front of them. I take action immediately. I am not okay with that by any means necessary. I will end that threat. And now multiply that by like 10,000. Again, Frank Castle, one of the 30 best people at his job in the world, and he's got the capabilities that I don't have. Like, I can't go challenge the mob if the mob had ended my children's lives as they did Frank Castle's lives. But here's another piece, though, is Frank Castle got there because of who he was. Because of that, so the theory here is he came back and he had a wife and kids and he changed and he became Mr. Nice Guy. Can people change?
It's a great question. Can people change? I say the vast majority don't change, but there's a very few that can.
All right. Now, give me an example. Do you think Frank Castle, when he got out of the war, changed?
I'll put it this way. I think he did change until his family was killed. I think if his family was never killed, he probably would have just retired and been fine with that.
All right. Here's my challenge to that. We know from Interstellar that people are energy, that all things are energy. So much like a magnet, magnets could be people, people could be magnets. And there are certain things that drive them, that they're attracted to, that they are driven by. What you can find is you find the right hot lady and you put her in the middle and all of a sudden the magnets aren't attracted. But the second you remove the wife or the kids, the magnets are still the same. They never changed. Frank Castle never changed. He was always the badass assassin, special ops operative, good guy, however you want to word it. Frank Castle didn't change until something got in his way. And I'm not saying that something that got in his way wasn't good. I'm saying something.
You're talking about Frank Castle.
priorities.
I'm just saying in general, I think there's a small portion of the population that can change. That's all.
Do you have an example?
I think there's people who've like.
Dude, I've changed a ton throughout my life. I've really changed in some like pretty deep ways, to be honest with you. Like you've changed. I mean, goodness gracious, everybody's
do you change
changed.
or do you grow?
Change. Probably. Well, I mean, I guess you can always say grow. Yeah, you can kind of do some wordsmithing with that, kind of. But yeah, I mean, I would say this: I'm definitely a different man or human being than I was 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 15, 20. Yeah.
No, it's 5 years ago, 10 years ago, because now you're 20.
Yeah. 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 20 years ago, I was not even born.
Anyways, I think, yes, a person can grow, but I think also over the time as you do grow, one can make a change. And how you were maybe at a younger age, that can be different than how you are in an older age. So sure. I think it's a possibility people can change. Does everyone change? I think the mass majority don't.
I agree with you. I think change is possible. I really do. And part of that is because just like with Frank Castle or anyone else that comes back from the war and they have a family, they have this faith that everything's going to be okay, regardless of...
I wasn't really sure. I guess
regardless
I didn't put it over there for that reason, but sure. I just get out of my way.
Regardless
I might need
of
a little tiny bit just to get it on the tongue.
regardless of what they've faced, there's still this piece, this act of faith that we've talked about previously on shows. And for me, man, you lose your faith. And I think that's what Castle has and doesn't have between being at war, being a special operatives person who, in my mind, was always doing the right thing. You know, we had a conversation. Well, what about when he shot that guy in the head? And my point is the thing that drills, that rings, that I can't let go of is they're like, do you have a problem with killing this guy? Not if it's sanctioned by Congress. He believed it was the right thing because Congress, he trusted, would do the right thing. Not saying that that is always going to be right, by the way. And, you know, the last 2 years, again, I keep coming thinking, what changed the last 2 years? So with that, though, Congress, you know, the faith, he lost his faith when his wife and children were killed and he was there and he couldn't protect them.
I mean, to kind of go back to like your thought here about change, a person, or there's an old saying, does a zebra change it? Can a zebra change its stripes?
No.
Or a
Well, it's
tiger.
kind of like when you know when
The
someone
answer is
shows you.
no.
It's like when someone shows you who they are. Yeah, I get that there is that part of it. Exactly what. Yeah, I mean, yeah, like someone's kind of like their deep down true being, you know. But even then, I still have faith that if someone's, I mean, they can change for the good. I think
I also agree. I believe people can make that change, but I don't think most people do.
All right, I got to bring this back to some dark stuff here.
Yeah, Russo.
Because since I was talking Punisher, right?
Right.
And we kind of went from Punisher
Jigsaw.
being comic book, and we kind of talked about it almost into like the real world, right? We kind of brought it there, and I don't know if you guys have seen it, but it made me think of this. And you, Jesse, you will bawl, you will go crazy. This will be a movie for you to see. I mean, anybody that sees it, it's one of those things. Like kind of, it takes that Punisher thing and that what if.
You're going to say 600 round?
No, huh?
All right.
It takes that what if to the real world. And you're not a Navy SEAL. You're not anybody, but it's a movie with Kevin Bacon in it.
Oh.
And it was, I watched it and I was like, it ended and I was just like, oh, like just silent. And I watched it by myself. Like it's pretty dramatic. It's called Death Sentence.
Ooh.
You should, because it is the Punisher. Only take him. He's not a special ops badass. He's just a dad. He is a dad, and this happens to his family, and he loses it and decides to do something about it. And kind of the ramifications are like this, not the butterfly effect, but like he makes a decision, and you don't think about you think about I want to be the hero. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. Okay. So you go and do that, then what happens? So check it out.
You're looking
Kevin
over your
Bacon,
shoulder the rest of your
Death
life.
Sentence.
So there's another movie that's kind of similar to that, which is Peppermint.
Yes. Yep. Yeah.
So
But she's more of a badass. She gets pretty badass in this.
well, she does get badass, but she was a mom that was a bank teller, and then after that, she goes and robs the bank, and then goes and finds people to train her, and then she becomes a badass like 5-10 years later.
Yeah. But I mean, that's like, and still, but like, okay, that's still kind of fantasy world, like going to get trained and stuff. It is a cool movie. I'm because I dug that
think
movie.
you could
like
go
this-
find. I mean, you could go to some third world and find people to train you to become
Easily.
I mean, I
You don't
get
even
yeah.
have to
There's
go to that
MMA.
third
I mean,
world.
you could go down and do like Brazilian jiu-jitsu right down the block, So I'm sure you could.
I'm only 21 years old. We got time.
Yeah, it's easy. It's so easy.
So, anyways, what were you about to say? I think I jumped in.
No,
before you did.
you're good.
Peppermint.
Think about this. Here's something that's interesting to me. Think about for yourselves, and I think for me, you guys already know the answer. The Punisher, the character, the individual. Is he a good guy or a bad guy?
I think due to his moral code, and if he's portrayed like I never read the comic books, but if he's portrayed like how he is on the TV series on Marvel on Netflix, yeah, he's a good guy. I mean, everything he does, like maybe by the means he goes about doing it might be wrong against a civilized society, but what he is doing and his moral code that he holds up to, yeah, he's a good guy.
I agree. But do you guys think the masses agree?
He's pretty much taken out like bad dudes.
Yeah.
So I would think everybody would be like, yeah.
I think the masses would agree that he is okay. I think it's just like the weird people who are like the. I think it's
law. The law has a problem with it.
I wouldn't even say the law has a problem with him necessarily. I think it's the nerdy kid in school that like has to follow every rule in the book. Oh, this rule says this. This rule says this. You can't do that. You know, there's like
that's the one who gets shot by the bad guy that the Punisher would have killed.
Yeah, so there's like the spirit of the law, and there's like the law, and then the spirit of the law.
Oh.
And
it gets on. You're towing a fine line here because I agree with you. My point being,
I think he's okay in my book.
I don't think most people are actually okay with what he does, or they won't admit it. I think there's a difference. I don't think they'll admit it, even if they are okay with it. But at the end of the day, they're okay with, let's say, what James Bond does. What's the difference? Well, they're both doing the same thing. One's getting paid far less, by the way, and spending far less and probably being far more effective. But at the end of the day, he hasn't been, at this point, sanctioned any longer by Congress.
I mean, I get, they do say vigilantism is illegal, but hey, I mean, he's taking out the trash no one wants to deal with, or the trash that won't be dealt with.
Here, the problem the masses
there is a problem.
would have, the problem the masses would have, and I get it, is like, who's he to decide? Why is he the person that gets to decide?
Why does he get power?
Because what if he totally decides that like to end me for some dumbass thing that was not even, like I jaywalked and it pissed him off? No. You know what I mean? Like there needs to be a process. It can't be judge, jury, and executioner. I think that would be the problem.
I agree with you. That's why
when you asked the question. So that's.
I think he asked the question.
Dude.
Oh, you asked the question.
Yeah. Why is Glenfarclas 10?
I just said I was okay with them. That's all.
Yeah, I think in general, like, yeah.
I may not be okay with the collateral damage that is done.
I just think of the what if. Yeah, the collateral damage. Yeah, exactly. Like, so he, destroyed this dude because it was a moral compass and blah, blah, blah. But it turned out that dude had like a wife and 4 kids, and he was a really good dude and tried to do all the right things and just got caught up in, red rum.
The license plate.
I just noticed that too. Nice, yeah.
So at the end of the day, though, the Punisher doesn't take out collateral damage, and I think that's part of his code because of his
what
wife
he
and children.
does causes collateral damage. That's my point.
Does it?
Well, I think if you think of like destruction of public property,
you took away. But what if you took away this deemed bad guy because he did a crime? He sold drugs or whatever, but he was selling drugs because he was trying to get a better life for his wife and his kids. So now he's dead, and his wife and kids have any way to support.
Okay, so how many wives and kids does he have?
Just the one wife.
Just one wife. How many kids does he have?
2, 3 kids. 4, 2, 4, 2, 1 kid.
All right, I'm beating him again. So nonetheless, I'm the winner. So nonetheless, though, how many lives does he save and put in a right way by getting those drugs off the street versus the few he affects negatively in a positive way?
It's just that butterfly effect. You don't know.
What if the drug dealer's child cures cancer?
Exactly. Could have. But
can't.
now he's depressed because his dad's gone because the Punisher killed him, and now the world is a worse
he's not going to go to college. He won't get the training that he needs, and then now
this show just went to shit.
All because the Punisher killed him for selling a dime bag on the corner.
No.
Everyone's
curing cancer. It doesn't go away.
Not anymore, thanks to the Punisher.
Okay, 1 minute.
Thank you.
1 minute wrap up. 1 minute wrap up, and then we got to wrap up.
All right, what do you guys say, Brian?
It's been a great time. Always fun. Thanks, guys.
I was going to say 1 minute wrap up on the Punisher.
Oh, the Punisher. Oh,
yeah.
I think I've said what needs to be said. I was not sure. I am not sure that I was big on the actor they chose for the Punisher in the show. Personally, I don't know why.
I know why.
Why?
Because he's not sexy at all.
I think so. So I actually was looking. I was like, I think they should have got the dude that played the Punisher in the movie. He just looked bigger, and he looked more like a superhero because the dude in the thing didn't look like a superhero.
I actually like the character. I actually like the actor.
I grew to appreciate him.
I may, because I'm only like 3 episodes in, so I may appreciate him.
But in any case, I'll just wrap it up. I think I like his moral compass. He sticks to his moral compass. Maybe some like collateral damage that he does, like when you like I said, I'm just going out to the Netflix series here, but I mean, as he's going through trying to kill Russo and the people that he's trying to avenge for his family, there is some like property damage and things like that end up happening, and or damage to like businesses and stuff like that. That might be the one area that I might have a slight bit of issue with, but not really.
That's what insurance is for.
Well, any case, regardless of that, but overall, I think I do like the moral code. I do think people can change. I don't think he necessarily did change. I think he was actually forced back into being into his old self by his family being killed in front of him. I do think if you're like me, who's just kind of like a novice to like, I never really read comic books or anything like that.
Me either.
My whole exposure to Marvel and stuff like that were like the Justice League and the League of Doom or something like that.
Legion of Doom, Super Friends.
Yeah,
that was DC, of course.
Yeah. But that was like
Spider-Man and his amazing friend.
Yeah, Spider-Man and amazing friend.
Firestorm. No, Fires.
I don't know. There's like
Iceman and Fire something.
Yeah, but it was just like the Saturday morning cartoons
Yes.
or the weekday cartoons when they actually used to have cartoons on TV. That was like my full exposure to Marvel until the movies and all that stuff came out. And then, so just as being like pretty much a novice to all this, like, honestly, I think the Punisher is kind of a kick-ass dude. I think at the end of the day, he takes care of the bad guys. He could be considered a bad guy because he doesn't follow the law 100% of the time. But sometimes, I hate to say this, but sometimes you there's that spirit of the law and the letter of the law. And sometimes you have to go with the spirit of the law because not every time will the law actually hold true for you. And in this case, I think that's what makes the Punisher great. And to bring it back to your real quick point about what's happening in today's time when there's a certain political group out there that wants to take away your guns, but yet also defund the police, I think you have to have somebody like the Punisher maybe out there like creating justice.
We talked about that too, and I fully agree. And I'm glad you brought it up and simplified it because this would have been a 20-minute conversation minimum. So with that, a couple things about the Punisher to me that are so great, and also so trying. Man, he, to your point, does what needs to be done, and we don't necessarily like it, but at the end of the day, he brings his own piece. This has done so many different movies, so many different characters, good and bad. It can be Ethan Hawke doing what he does to save his wife. It can be James Bond doing what he does because he lost Vesper Lynd and finally gets a quantum of solace. James Bond never changed. He was never going to change, even when he was on a yacht enjoying Vesper's time. In my mind, he was always that person. He lives by a code. We all do. We all live by a code, and that's very important to me and him. One of my favorite memories of the Punisher series is at the beginning of season 2 when the Punisher's in a bar with a very attractive bartender, and she's like, "You didn't have to do that for me," when he protects her from some guy who's being a total tool at best. And he's like, I didn't do it for you. I just don't like assholes. And I think that is his code. He doesn't like bad people. This guy was a bad person. He didn't necessarily do what was right for the good people. He was literally doing what was right to stop the bad people. And that's his code. And I can appreciate that. And, I love the Punisher.
I'm kind of like the Punisher like that. Like, I don't like bad people either. I just
none of us do. I
tend to like bad people.
I tend to like avoid them and not shoot them in the face though. So that's where we're a little different.
For now,
Okay,
take Aaron out of the picture.
Hey,
No more faces.
People change.
All right, so next week's Smarter Challenge. Okay. Next week's Smarter Challenge will be basically predictions of the future by Nostradamus and that supercomputer. Remember what was the name of that supercomputer?
I never found it. I looked
Oh.
for it. You brought this up, and I looked for it. But yeah, there were a couple of them actually. The one that more intrigued me was the one in Tennessee.
Okay, and then also Baba Yaga.
Baba Yaga.
So Baba Yaga, Nostradamus, and the supercomputer that makes predictions about pretty much all the major events in human, I guess, occurrences. So that's going to be next week's Smarter Challenge. And anything you want to say to the people?
Oh, Brian, thank you for being here. Noah, thank you for always being here. Cheers, you guys. Life is great. Thanks for sharing this scotch.
Cheers.
Thank you guys. Please continue to leave feedback and give us
I think you did the early cheer. Sorry, go ahead.
cheers.
Cheers.
All right.
Just use cheers in.
Yeah.
Cheers, man. Yeah, life is great. Thank you guys for watching.
You got to drink after cheers, right?
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Cheers. I'm gonna get these guys drunk.
I
Why?
can't drink anymore. I'm done.
I got more. We're safe.
Yeah. No, I'm out.
What are you about to say? Sorry.
Continue, to give us feedback. Let us know what you like, what you don't like. Do you love these topics? Do you hate these topics? Do you want more conspiracy theories? Do you want more real world drama? Do you want to be challenged and have to think about your own moral code? Let us know. Brian.
Had a great time, as usual. Getting late. Got to work tomorrow. You guys don't.
Yeah.
I'll be calling you guys in June.
In June.
Yeah.
All right. That's
Yeah.
when we'll have you back kind of regularly again.
Yeah. And we're going to be hanging out. We're doing mostly staycations this summer.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, going to be around.
Maybe you might change studio settings.
Sounds good.
Maybe you could do one in a hot tub.
Heyo.
Oh,
Yeah.
I don't know. Hot tub and now in Scotch will mix well.
And electricity and mics. That, yeah.
Electric scotch. Dude, this sounds like the
And
Punisher
that's-
all over again.
The famous final episodes of Scotch Hour. The hot tub.
All right.
Hot tub
just
time machine.
It's like an hour of us being electrocuted.
That is awesome, Scott.
We can do it as a live.
Live feed, dead feed.
You're gonna see like.
All right, I'm out of here.
Electric cord in the
I gotta
boat.
go.
All right. So thank you everyone who does watch our episodes. As Jesse mentioned, please leave some comments down below. And let us know if you do like the new time on Saturdays of it being released. I know this is only on the second week that we did it on a Saturday. And I've not really looked at the data to really, I don't think we have enough data to really make a decision if that's the better day for everyone. But if you do like it, let us know. If you don't like it, let us know. And once again, if you're watching us, you're probably watching us on YouTube or Rumble. If you're listening to us, we're on Podbean, Spotify, Amazon Music, Audible Podcasts, and Google Podcasts. And with that, thank you guys, thank you everyone, and cheers.
Don't
and have a good
drink
night.
and drive.
Stay classy, San Diego.
Same Scotch time, same Scotch hour.
Cheers.
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 We hope you enjoyed this evening's episode of Scotch Hour. If you did, please like, share, and subscribe. Also, if you have not done so already, please become a Patron member, with memberships starting as low as $1 a month. Thank you, and hopefully you have a wonderful evening.